new babe. So what's good, TMG fam? It's your boy L, and I'm back with another reaction. How y'all feel? Welcome back to the channel. Salute. So listen, man, we back with another joint from audit to audit, man. You know what I mean? They kind of like my encyclopedia or reference guide now for like police stuff. And I don't even know if they're 100% accurate. It just feels like they are, don't it? It feels like he goes in great depth and gives a lot of information on the things that they be covering in these videos, bro. So today, right, I think this one is probably gonna be crazy. I'm a little bit too excited, over anxious for it. So I hope it don't let me down. But on this video here, we got officer swiftly fired after challenging altercation. We're gonna check this one out. So if you're new to the channel, man, subscribe button. Also go show audit to audit some love, man. All right, here we go. Always read the disclaimer.
Welcome to Audit the Audit, where we sort out the who and what and the right and wrong of police interactions. This episode covers free speech, the fighting words doctrine, and officer conduct, and comes to us from Police Activities channel. Be sure to check out the description below and give them the credit that they deserve. On November 23rd, 2016, Officer James Sanders of the Social Circle Police Department in Social Circle, Georgia, was conducting a traffic stop off of North Cherokee Road. As Officer Sanders was concluding his stop, an individual who was passing by yelled profanities directed at the officer as he drove by the stop. Without informing dispatch, Officer Sanders immediately jumped into his patrol vehicle and initiated a stop on the vehicle.
Okay, somebody rode past and just cursed him out.
How you doing, officer? How's it going? License and insurance.
Castle, I got pulled over?
Yeah, I'll be glad to tell you in just 1 second.
Take some time, go ahead.
Is everybody all right?
Yes, sir.
What's going on? Who yelled out the window?
I don't know. None of us.
So off the rip, he knows somebody in the back yell, "Hey, yo, what's up, Sanders?" So he automatically knows one of them. So this may be why he may get a little bit too comfortable.
Yeah, come on back here with me, Mr. Bird.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Bird,
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna ask you one time. How long you had your license?
Over 6 months.
Over 6 months. So everybody, you're good to haul everybody around there, okay?
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna ask you one time.
Yes, sir.
All right. And if you don't, we're gonna go another route with it. Who yelled out of your Jeep when you went by us?
It was Brandon.
Who?
Brandon.
Which one's Brandon?
In the front seat.
Get man cracked under pressure already. He was sweating. Did you see the sweat beading off of his face? He was nervous. He's like, yo, I just got my license, man. My mom's gonna kill me. My mom's gonna kill me. My mom's gonna kill me. I just got my license, man. Ah, man, I ain't even had him 6 months yet. Fam, he was nervous. Yeah, he was gonna rat him out. Cop played that perfectly. He played that perfectly. Here we go. Let's go see.
Got the Jeep.
Yes, sir.
What'd you have to say?
Nothing.
No, tell me one more time you're going to jail, son.
Officer Sanders informs Mr. Hughes that if he repeats what he had yelled out the window, that he would be taken to jail. As mentioned on many episodes of ATA, the Supreme Court has routinely held that profanity is protected under the First Amendment, and that protection extends to criticisms of police. The Supreme Court has tackled the issue of profanity and its relationship to free speech on numerous occasions, and in the 1971 case of Cohen versus California, the court ruled directly on the use of the F word to criticize the government. As Justice John Marshall Harlan II famously noted, quote, "While the particular four-letter word being litigated here is perhaps more distasteful than most others of its genre, it is nevertheless often true that one man's vulgarity is another's lyric." The court reasoned that censoring certain words or phrases that serve as legitimate and non-threatening criticisms would offer the government a, quote, "convenient guise for banning the expression of unpopular views." However, the Cohen ruling did not exclude the possibility of regulating speech to some degree. For example, in the 1942 1982 Supreme Court case of Chaplinsky versus New Hampshire, the court developed the concept of fighting words, which are words that fail to possess any social value or contribute to the expression of ideas and are solely intended to incite violence. The court has since narrowed the fighting words doctrine, but the core principle of First Amendment protection for criticisms of the government remains intact. The court went on to apply this logic to the context of a police encounter in the 1987 Supreme Court case of Houston versus Hill, stating, quote, "The First Amendment protects a significant amount of verbal criticism and challenge directed at police officers. Speech is often provocative and challenging, but it is nevertheless protected against censorship or punishment, unless shown likely to produce a clear and present danger of a serious substantive evil that rises far above public inconvenience, annoyance, or unrest." Given that Mr.
Let that settle in everything he just said. Woo! And I'll be the first to tell you, I tell you now, I would have been way too scared to even yell that at. Now, as a kid, I probably would have done some dumbness like they did right now. But at this age, I'm not doing that. You know what I'm saying? I have no time to be going to jail. I have a family to provide. I don't have time for that. You know what I'm saying? But as a young teenage kid, I might would have done some dumb stuff like that. But I would have known that that was put in place to protect my freedom of speech. That kid has no idea right now. Has no idea. You know what I'm saying? I guarantee you Ice Cube and NWA would have loved to know this back in the day if this was around back then. You know what I'm saying? That was crazy. Like I told y'all, man, you learned something here.
Mr. Hughes was merely expressing his opinion of police as a whole and did not direct any personal insults or threats of violence to Officer Sanders, it is highly unlikely that a court would find this stop to be legitimate on the basis of Mr. Hughes' choice of words.
What's your name?
Brandon Hughes.
Brandon Hughes.
Yes, sir.
I know who you are.
Yes, sir.
Is there something you need to say to us that you want to yell out the window?
No, sir.
Who you yelling at? Hey, look at me when you talk to me, son. Who you gonna yell at? What'd you say? F the police.
Yes, sir, I'm sorry.
You're sorry. Get your hands out of your pockets.
Yes, sir.
Why you want to say that to the police?
I don't know y'all protect us. I shouldn't have.
No, I ain't protecting you.
All valid, negative. 2005 Pontiac 5.
F the police. Why? You can get back. Why do you want to F the police, son?
I don't.
Why you say it then? You think it's gonna make you a badass or something in front of everybody?
No, sir, I don't, because I'm getting fussed at right now.
You want to F the police?
No, sir.
Well, here I am, right here, brother.
I don't want to.
Why not? You're a
want
tough guy. Come
I'm
on.
not tough.
Huh?
I'm not tough.
You seem like a little baby the day you was in court, remember?
Yes, sir.
I'm giving you every opportunity.
No, sir.
He really knows them, bro. He knew about them in court. You know what I'm saying? Everything, fam.
Sir.
Then why you want to yell about it when you're in front of your buddies right there? Is it cool?
No, sir.
You trying to be a bad in front of them?
No, sir.
You sure?
Yes, sir.
I'm giving you every opportunity to f me up. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Officer Sanders essentially invites Mr. Hughes to engage in a physical altercation in what appears to be a veiled threat of violence. As the fighting words doctrine circulated through various rulings, the court was granted more opportunities to refine the concept and its applicability. In the 1969 Supreme Court case of Watts versus United States, the court clarified that the First Amendment does not protect speech that is considered a quote-unquote true threat, but failed to thoroughly elaborate on what exactly constitutes a true threat. A common theme that is echoed through various courts regarding unprotected speech is the notion that any speech which produces a clear and present danger of a serious, intolerable evil that rises above mere inconvenience or annoyance does not enjoy First Amendment protection. In the 1989 case of Texas versus Johnson, the court considered whether the act of burning a United States flag fell into the doctrine of fighting words and concluded that, quote, no reasonable onlooker would have regarded Johnson's generalized expression of dissatisfaction with the policies of the federal government as a direct personal insult or an invitation to exchange fisticuffs. The court ruled that burning a United States flag was, in fact, protected free speech. But what is more interesting is the contextual definition that was assigned to the fighting words doctrine through this ruling. The court specifically noted that burning a flag did not equate to, quote, an invitation to exchange fisticuffs, which suggests that any language or action that did result in an invitation to engage in a physical altercation was not protected by free speech, and thus could be considered a crime under an applicable statute. Under Section 16-11-39 of Georgia's Criminal Code, a person commits the offense of disorderly conduct when such person acts in a violent or tumultuous manner toward another person, whereby such person is placed in reasonable fear of the safety of such person's life, limb, or health. And it is entirely possible that a court would find Officer Sanders' conduct to be in violation of this code.
I get it. I 1,000% get it. If the law states that, then he was in the wrong. But this is what I'm going to say, bro. I have no problem with, listen, man, it takes a village to raise these kids these days, man. What the officer's doing right now is confronting them, giving them a little bit of intimidation and trying to set him back on the right path. I have no problem with this right now, as long as, let me say that, as long as it doesn't go any farther than him putting the fear of God in them. You know what I'm saying? Because they need to be set back on the right path. So right now, even though I get it, he's not supposed to be doing that, I have no issue with that because, you know what I'm saying, man, whether it have been my kid, I'll give you an example. My kid, when he was younger, he took something in school, wasn't supposed to, and was starting to head down a path of just getting into trouble and stuff like that. So we had we sat down with the principal and we had them call the cop that was on campus in to scare the living daylights out of him. You know what I'm saying? Just to let him know the path you're headed down is going to lead you to jail, son, if you don't clean this up. So we had him come in there and scare him to death. And it kind of got him back on the right path. You know what I'm saying? So I get that in a sense of what he's doing. Now, if it goes any further, then it is wrong. And then that's the dilemma in itself as well, because this can go left. You know what I'm saying? So you kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. Because what he's saying now could lead to an altercation, and what they'll say is the officer instigated it. You know what I mean? So it's tough.
Not only was the officer's stop likely invalid, but there is a strong argument to be made that Officer Sanders violated Georgia Criminal Code by inviting Mr. Hughes to engage in a physical altercation.
Now let me ask you this. What have I ever done to you?
Nothing at all.
Not a thing.
Yes,
what has my partner ever done to you?
Not a thing.
Not a thing, right?
Yes, sir.
So why do you want the police?
I don't. I was being dumb.
No, it's a little bit more than being stupid is what I think.
Ignorant.
So let me ask you something. Next time you get caught selling weed or having weed on you, do you think somebody's going to try to cut you a break? If I go to jerking everybody out of that Jeep and I find 1 ounce of weed, do you think I'm going to take everybody to jail?
Yes, sir. No, sir. Just me.
No, I'm going to take every one of your friends to jail.
Yes, sir.
How old are you?
I feel like I'm getting in trouble right now. I kind of slunched down in my seat a little bit, looking down like I'm getting in trouble.
17.
I didn't know y'all could be so stupid anymore. Everybody get out of the Jeep. You want to see how big of a police is going to be? I'm fixing to show you. I'm fixing to search every one of you and every ounce of this Jeep.
Can he do that? I thought you had to have probable cause to. Can he do that? Oh, this might be about to go wrong. I could be wrong though, but I thought you had to have like probable cause to be able to just do.
So help me God, if I find one seed, every one of you is going to go to jail because of the police, son.
Officer Sanders threatens to search and arrest everyone in the vehicle for Mr. Hughes' remarks, and proceeds to conduct what appears to be a plain view search of the vehicle. The plain view doctrine is an exception to the Fourth Amendment's warrant requirement that allows a member of law enforcement to seize evidence and contraband that are found in plain view during a lawful observation, and courts have routinely upheld searches that employ this concept. When the plain view doctrine was first founded in the 1971 Supreme Court case of Coolidge versus New Hampshire, the court initially concluded that any contraband seized through the doctrine must have been discovered by the officer inadvertently, but the court later eliminated that requirement in the 1990 case of Horton versus California. The court clarified that there are 3 requirements that must be met in order for a plain view search to be valid, in what would later become known as the Horton test. First, the officer must be lawfully present at the place where the evidence was plainly viewed. Second, the officer must have a lawful right of access to the object. And third, the incriminating character of the object must be immediately apparent. According to the Horton test, a plain view search is only valid if the cause for the initial stop is lawful. And as discussed before, it is highly unlikely that a court would consider Officer Sanders' initial stop to be legitimate. Therefore, Officer Sanders would not have been within his authority to conduct a search of any kind on any of the individuals involved in this encounter.
I didn't think so. Oh, yeah, he's letting his anger get the best of him right now. He pissed. The officer is pissed off.
Funny, ain't it? Did y'all laugh? Huh? Did you laugh? Did you laugh?
217, are y'all on?
You think it's funny? This smart ass right here says the police.
38.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Who you want first?
Bird, you can get back in the Jeep, son. You ain't done nothing wrong. Y'all two pile back in there. Y'all ain't done nothing wrong. Ain't no sense in y'all paying for this stupid.
Me?
That's that knucklehead off of Elm Street right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that don't remember y'all saw.
He don't believe it, but I swear to God I can beat him in basketball.
You can't shoot. You still gotta play me. I'm still waiting for you. I've been asking you since I was on Elder.
Dude, let me tell you something. I got two torn up ligaments. I will smoke both of y'all. Y'all can play 2-on-1.
Take you out the game.
Let me tell you something. You'd be on your little skinny ass. I'm telling you. You ever seen Charles Barkley play?
Take you out the booth.
Hey, dude, I'm gonna be honest with you. Technically, I can't search your Jeep, and I can't touch y'all, and I don't want to. I'm not a like that. Okay, but I'm gonna tell you something. If you hang around like this, somebody's gonna mess with you. Hey, let me ask you this: you upset because you did it, or you upset because you got caught?
Honestly, both. It was disrespectful when I was a race better.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know that you. I don't know.
I mean, what you did is not breaking the law. You didn't break the law. It's freedom of speech.
Yes, sir.
But still, I mean, just to blatantly.
So they know. We can't sit here and say they don't know. They know. They just implicated that. The second officer did. Just implicated that you didn't break the law.
Just hauling out while we're trying to do our job. What if that was a DUI person? I just stopped on the side of the road and got them off the street, keep from hitting somebody in your family and killing them.
Yes, sir.
You got to look at it. You know what I'm saying? That it all goes around.
Yes, sir.
I mean, why do you really feel like that? Because you really feel like that. Huh? I mean, I would be okay if you were just trying to be a badass in front of your boys.
Yeah.
Because you obviously have some pent-up frustrations. And I'm going to tell you right now, neither one of us done anything to you.
Yes, sir, I know.
So tell me, be honest about it. Why in the world do you really feel that way? Because deep down, you have to feel it. Because that you know what? I've done some crazy stuff in my life. Not once have I ever said that.
After admitting that he could not legally search the vehicle and finishing up his lecture, Officer Sanders allowed Mr. Hughes to leave the scene without further incident. A few days after the encounter, an anonymous citizen raised concerns about the stop to Social Circle Police Chief Tyrone Oliver, who reviewed the body camera footage and initially placed Officer Sanders on leave, but made the decision to fire the officer less than a week later. The officer had been with the Social Circle Police Department for 8 years, and according to the Walton Tribune, his personnel file showed an oral warning for failure to provide assistance in 2013, a reprimand for conduct in 2014, and a written warning for violating the administrative regulations or departmental rules in 2016.
Jesus, bro. Yeah. Come on now. You would think with your history, fam, you would want to be skating like on the straight and narrow, bro.
Officer Sanders immediately appealed the chief's decisions at the city council, but city manager Adele Shermer upheld his termination and the decision was finalized. It is unclear whether any of the individuals involved filed any federal complaints against Officer Sanders. Overall, Officer Sanders gets an F for displaying a fundamental misunderstanding of the First Amendment and freedom of speech, conducting a traffic stop with no legitimate basis, and for threatening Mr. Hughes with violence for expressing his opinion. Not only
That's where I think it went wrong, right there. The whole inviting you to an altercation. What do you want to do? You want to do like that right there, probably. But the whole scare tactic and everything, I really didn't have an issue with because we all know how rowdy our kids can get And we all know how things could have went left. He yelling out at the police, the disrespect. I don't like disrespect. My kids will tell you that's one thing I do not tolerate is the blatant disrespect of anybody, an adult or an authority figure to you. You know what I'm saying? So the whole scare tactic, I didn't have a problem with. Now the whole inviting him to an altercation, I get it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I have mixed opinions about this one. I'm gonna be anxious to see how you guys feel about it. You know what I'm saying? And maybe you can open my eyes or point out some more things, additional things that I might have overlooked. You know what I mean? But I can understand. He also has a personnel file with reprimands in it. So he kind of is not the right guy to be doing this, but
only did the officers admit that nothing Mr. Hughes did was illegal, but Officer Sanders also acknowledged the possibility that Mr. Hughes had formed a negative opinion of police officers, and then proceeded to exacerbate and legitimize that opinion by harassing Mr. Hughes. It is difficult to understand how Officer Sanders rationalized his conduct as productive, and intimidating and threatening an individual because they have an unfavorable opinion of police officers can only serve to reinforce that opinion. The officers continually alluded to the notion that Mr. Hughes should respect them because it is them who ensures his safety and security. But the public at large does not owe police officers a higher degree of respect because they chose a career in law enforcement. Being a police officer is a demanding and often thankless line of work that is essential to the fabric of American society. But so is logging and piloting an aircraft, which happen to be the top 2 most dangerous jobs in America, with policing ranked at 22nd. Members of law enforcement do deserve the respect of the public, just as much as any other industry that supplies the basic needs of the public. But that does not absolve them from the criticisms that ultimately drive progress within the field. As Chief Oliver noted to Fox 5 regarding the incident, quote, "In this profession, we have to have tough skin. People say stuff to us all the time, and you gotta let it roll off your back and do your job and do it right. It is difficult."
Now that is true. That is true. You do in that line of profession have to have tough skin. You have to be able to control yourself. That's why those guys should have access to therapy, PTSD sessions. After a call, if a call affected them, they should be able to speak to somebody. All that type of stuff like that. I totally agree with. You know what I mean? And he did draw it out a little bit much, but at the same time, man, then you wonder, you get these kids that go out and they shoot up or they rob or they do different things, and you say, man, who raised this kid? But then you get mad at the officer for trying to get him back in line. Did he go too far a little bit? Yes. Could he be reeled back in? You know what I mean? And did a little bit better? Tomato, tomato. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know if he should have lost his job over that, but he probably lost his job due to the other stuff and this being tacked on to that. But I think this would have been a good teachable moment for everybody. I'm glad they put this video up because it is a good teachable moment. It is.
Difficult to assign an accurate grade to Mr. Hughes for several reasons, but the most prominent one being that he was a minor at the time of this interaction. What is clear from the video is that he did not break any laws, and no one should fear being stopped and threatened by the police for expressing their opinion of the police. It is impossible to speculate on why Mr. Hughes has formed this opinion of police officers, but nothing Officer Sanders did had the potential to change that opinion. I commend Chief Oliver for taking swift action against Officer Sanders, and I commend the Social Circle Town leadership for upholding the chief's decision and setting the precedent that this type of conduct will not be tolerated from its officers. This is exactly the type of response that this behavior should generate, and I hope that more cities across America will take a page from the Social Circle Handbook. Let us know if there is an interaction.
Like I said, one last thing before we roll out. I think where the officer kind of got is because he knew them. He knew each and every one of them. You know what I mean? He had a rapport with each and every one of them. And to be honest with you, I like that in a police officer, for them to know their community, to know the people in their community. You know what I'm saying? To build that type of relationship. I think you should have that type of relationship with you know what I'm saying? Now, it might have went a little bit too far because he knew him and he was comfortable and relaxed and, you know what I mean, felt that, you know, he knew this kid. He probably knew this kid growing up, thought he was a good kid, and just needed to give him a swift kick in the butt to get him back in the right direction. Not literally, but just figuratively. You know what I'm saying? So, but, you know, it's reasons why you can't do certain things like that either. So I guess that's why I'm not a police officer. So y'all get at me in the comment section, man. Let me know what y'all thought of this video here. Super dope video. Again, officer swiftly fired after challenging altercation. Y'all let me know what y'all think. And stick around and stay tuned, man. Until the next reaction, I'm gone. Peace.